What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the NarikChase channel. I'm your boy NarikChase, and in this video, we're doing another streamlined podcast, which is episode, I believe, 99. Now, this is going to be a special episode because we're going to revisit one of my favorite sci-fi franchises, the Predator film series. But before we get into it, let me go ahead and let that bad boy fly. Alright guys, before we start getting into this, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what we have going on this channel. Now let's continue on with the episode. So check this out. Predator is one of my favorite all-time series. I've done Breaking the Base episode where we talked about the films preceding Prey. I did a review on Prey. I did some reviews on the Predator films. I don't think I reviewed them all, but I think I did review some of them. But I do need to go back and review all of the films. I had a really good time. Like the Alien series, there have been a lot of ups and downs with the film series. A lot of long-ranging series typically go through that, but the Predator series is very special to me. I grew up with it. I really enjoyed the '87 film, and it just opened my mind up. It just opened up my eyes to just like sci-fi horror, and it's just ultimately a really interesting premise. I've read some of the comics. I'm looking forward to diving more into the comics. Some of the books that to fill in a bit more of the gaps of what happened between the films. And I really haven't played too many of the games. I played the AVP games, but I haven't actually played a Predator game. Closest one probably AVP Requiem, that was a pretty fun game where you did play as a Predator, but not really any Predator games. But having said that, I want to go ahead and let's get into the discussion of me ranking the Predator films from best to worst, worst to best. This is going to be based on the four subjects with a 1 to 5 system on each one. Uh, Really, it's basically the story, direction, characters, the Predator itself, and the kills. And I know I said 4, so I guess it makes 5. So, without further ado, let's get into this. Now, being I'm gonna start from 1 and then make my way to 5. I would say the worst one would be the Predator. Now, I know in my initial review I gave it, I believe, a 4 out of 5. For those who don't know, when I rank movies, when I review them in 2 aspects. Is the movie going for what it was going for, and is it entertaining? Now, the movie cannot shoot for what it was going for, but still be an entertaining flick. And admittedly enough, the Predator is a pretty bad film because the writing and direction is just fucking terrible. But I still thought it was an entertaining film. I didn't like the characters for the most part. Although the black guy was probably the best one. Olivia Munn's character I thought was okay. Really, pretty much every other character was either forgettable, stereotypical, or just a dumb, forgettable character. But I did like the Predator scenes that were in the film. I know a lot of people didn't like the genetically altered Predator. I thought it was an interesting step, and I don't think, and they didn't hit the mark at all with it. Though there was some interesting aspects to the character that I thought were actually pretty cool. But ultimately, just the bad writing, the bad direction, the forgettable characters, mm, just pretty much. And then there are some pretty cool kills. I mean, actually, there's one of the best scenes within the entire franchise is in this, where there's this capture Predator and he breaks out. That was actually a pretty badass scene. He breaks out of this scientific facility, taking on scientists and soldiers. Fucking badass. That was probably one of the best kill counts within the entire franchise. It actually shows how badass the Predator is, and just the way it was shot was actually pretty cool too. That was a pretty That was a decent scene with this giant uber predator that was like this big forest fight. I thought that was actually pretty cool. It was somebody got killed in it. I don't understand how the fuck he got killed that way, because I haven't seen a predator have an issue with that. And for those who don't know, I'm talking about the guy that sat there and blew his own fucking head off. I thought that was a bit of a waste, but okay. But ultimately, yes, it's really the direction, the writing, the forgettable characters, and honestly the humor. This movie tried to introduce humor, and there was humor in the first film, but it was actually geared around the characters' relationship and the jokes they were telling like that. So the humor felt genuine. This one it just felt completely forced. And I'm with what another reviewer says. Ultimately, since the MCU done dropped, everybody feels like they have to put fucking comedy in their stuff, and that ultimately did help ruin this film. So, The Predator, despite how entertaining it was, how entertaining I thought it was, because it is a lot of action in it. It is a bad movie. It is a bad movie. So it is the worst Predator movie. Oh, and I did forget. I'm sorry. I should have clarified this. I'm not counting the AVP films in this. I mean, this is going to be strictly the Predator films. Don't you see? I got the Predators from all 5 films. So AVP films we're not counting. Um, the next one on the list is Predators. Uh, Coming in number 4 will be Predators. Now, the reason why Predators has is number 4 is because ultimately it feels too much like the first film, and it also feels like what could have been. One of the things that would have made this a better film, for one, the characters, you can take them or leave them. They were more interesting than the ones in The Predator, but honestly, they still weren't really that interesting. Really, the only person that showed any semblance of depth was kind of the sniper chick, because she wasn't just like a gung ho killer like the rest of them. And then the Russian guy who actually showed a picture of his kids. Like, I wish that could have been a bit more depth. You know, no, hold on. The murderer guy. He had the best personality. I have to give it to him. He had the funniest line. Like him, he had funny lines, but it didn't take away from the film. It didn't feel forced. It felt like genuinely a result of the shit that he said, because of just what his character is. So he was probably the best character. Yes, he's a killer and all that, but we sitting here rooting for an alien that's hunting people. So the killer guy was actually pretty good. He's probably the favorite best character out of all of them, because he did have a lot of personality. Marshala Ali, whatever. I like this guy's actor. I can never say his name. I wish his character would have lasted a little bit longer, but ultimately the characters aren't really that interesting. They're better than the ones from the Predator, but not really. But that's not saying much. They are a bit more interesting. Um, and then the whole thing with the Predator is that what makes it feel so much like the first film is the fact that, yeah, it takes place in the jungle. You do have some characters that kind of reflect other characters from the first movie, even with some of the weapon types. Um, but the problem with Predators is the fact that, not that there's 3 Predators, which that's actually pretty cool, is the fact that they're on this game planet. So you would think the people would have to see other animals, and the film just feels so boring, because the concept of them being on this game planet, these predators going to different planets and dropping off these different creatures on this planet, you would think that not only do the people have to contend with the predators, but also the other creatures. And it would have been cool to see these people fight other creatures, and it would have been cool because I think that would have did a better job of establishing how these people would adapt to the situation. Because what would be because the movie does this thing where there's a scene with these dogs, whatever these spiky dog things, the predators send out to attack the people, to see how the people would react to being attacked. And I think that would have been better had the predators been studying them being approached by these different animals. Like, maybe have 2 encounters, maybe have one encounter where they're fighting like a T-Rex monster, and the predators learn from that, and then have another encounter where they're fighting, like, I don't know, a giant tiger or something, and see how the predators learn from that, and then approach the people. And that would have gave a bit more context to the setting. It would have made the setting more memorable, because that was one of the biggest problems I had with that film. It's like it's a game planet. They could have put a xenomorph on it or something. They could have put a tiger or a bunch of. I mean, you get like a tree monster, but that was just fucking lame. It looked like Groot was actually. It's like they imported Groot into this film. He got killed, but and then also kind of what they did with Lawrence Fishburne's character. I understand why his character acted the way they acted and did the things that he did, but I think that his character could have had a better arc. Yes, he could have initially been like selfish and stuff, but then learned to help people, and then ultimately his sacrifice, whatever, led to them winning towards the end. I thought that would have been made for a more compelling film and a more compelling character. Um, but yeah, and but like I said, the best thing about it was the game plan. It was an interesting idea, although they didn't do shit with it. And the predators themselves were actually pretty cool. I did like the berserker predator. I like the tracker predator. I did like the fight between the yakuza guy and the one predator. I thought that was pretty cool. But ultimately, again, the potential that the potential was there. It just wasn't explored enough. And also just the characters. So the game planet not taking where it could have gone, and then ultimately the characters are kind of forgettable. Now, for my top three, this is where it gets a bit dicey because the Prey film I actually did like. Yes, it had some problems, but I did like the film. Um, I was supposed to say who directed all of this stuff and when it came out, but I just been kind of just it is what it is. And plus, with the Predators film, the kills weren't really that memorable. I mean, you had the one guy that got impaled, got stabbed, but he blew himself up, and then you got really the best kill was the guy that was the murderer. He ended up getting his spine ripped out. I thought that was actually pretty gory and pretty badass. It's probably the most memorable kill in the entire film. I mean, you can go with the duel with the Yakuza guy, but the rest of them really weren't that memorable. Oh, it was the Predator on Predator fight. That was pretty cool too. So, okay, that was pretty cool. Yeah. So, but still, it's number four on the list. But this is where it gets a little dicey. I'm going to say coming in at number three is Prey. I liked Prey. I liked the direction of Prey. I liked that it was very simple. I like it was more set during a time that was less refined as now, uh, where it was basically uh, no technology basically, and it reflected in both the humans and the predator. I thought all of that was actually pretty cool. I liked the fact that within the film the predator hunted. You saw a little bit more of what the predator did, and really most of the films you don't see the predator tracking, hunting, engaging with other animals, but this film you actually saw that the predator was actually pretty badass. I like that the human characters presented more of a challenge in this film too. So there's several scenes where the predator is attacking people, and the people are actually fucking fighting back. And even though the predator is stronger, shows that it's stronger, it's more durable, it's faster. They managed to leave its mark on it. You see that this thing is being wounded by other creatures, by these people and stuff. And that's like when you watch like predators in the wild and stuff, lions and tigers and bears. Sometimes when they engage with prey, they get wounded and stuff, and I like seeing that in this film. And I like that this predator was so hands on. Like there was this really cool bit where it like fought a wolf, and then it did like this really cool. It drew the blades out and did this really cool stance, and that was actually pretty cool. The bear fight was fucking badass. I don't care what nobody said. That was pretty cool. Um, and like I said, a lot of the action that was in the film just straight up pretty brutal. Kills were pretty brutal. Some of them, a lot of them, you didn't really get to see like that. But but like the action is done pretty well. And then I do like the main protagonist. Yes, you could say she's uh, trying to be a strong woman, but I'm like, if I'm going to go with that, I have to hold that against Brave. I have to hold that against Mulan. Yes, they have their reasons, but even she had a reason for the things that she was doing. And for that type of setting, if a woman were to speak up, I would believe that they wouldn't listen to her. So I can go with it on that. Now, if it was set like now when they're doing it, then I'm like, okay, they're doing too much. But if it's set in a time period where gender roles were much more stronger in the culture, and character was doing that again, it'd be like if I was like watching Mulan or something like that, and then I'd be like, come on, let's not do that. I actually like the character. She actually made mistakes, a lot of mistakes actually. The action. Actually, I like the relationship between her and her brother. I did like the fights that were in the film, and ultimately the story was actually pretty interesting. And I think the setting itself actually helped contribute to that. So I actually liked it. That's why it coming in at number three. Uh, Now the big two. I always loved the first Predator film. I've always loved the second Predator film. I like that the first Predator film introduces us to a very unique and mysterious creature with an interesting concept. And I like that part two builds on that. You get to see it do more of its thing. The first more is more of a mystery, while the second one is, I guess you could say, more of an action, takes more of an action stance because you know what it is, but now you just get to see what it do in a different setting. But I have to say that number two is the first film. I love the first film. Just watch it, just into it. I was digging the, like the relationship and the characters. It was good humor between. It was good uh, acting situation. Acting is actually really good. Story is actually very unique. Yes, there are other movies that are kind of, these people to rescue someone, assassinate someone, going to do just like a elite team going to do some kind of mission, and then there happens to be a monster or alien or something there that they have to deal with. But this film definitely put that concept on the map, refined it, and just took it to a whole new level. I like the Predator. I like the music. The iconic music is just straight up badass. Do we have here who does the? No, we don't. Yeah, I still know how to use it. I don't know how to use it. I can barely get this going. But anyways, the music is actually good, and even the special effects are actually still hold up a lot. Both the CGI, it's still decent, even that, but the practical effects, jungle, just the fights, action that's in the film is really good. It's just a really good film all around. Really, one of the films starring one time favorite action heroes is Arnold Schwarzenegger. See him in his prime, he's in this thing. So really like Predator, and Predator is coming in at number two. Now, coming in number one, Predator 2. And I know Predator 2 didn't do as well as the first Predator, but it has gained a lot of momentum over the years since then. And this is the reason why I like Predator 2, because I like that unlike the most of the other films, save for perhaps Prey, it's a normal guy, a regular guy having to do on with the kind of the performance. If you film, this one probably the most as setting itself is in the city. The rest of the film is woods, jungle. Uh, it's a kind of person thing. I see it's like the person that jungle city doing the thing. I like that you see it in its film. At like 3, 10 minutes, and just walking out. taken out, and also you get to see like a bit more of its toys in the film. You saw really the plasma cannon, you saw the wrist blades, but in this one you get to see the speed, you get to see the little throwing disc, you get to see the plasma cannon too. The wrist blades are a thing. And I love just how fast paced it is. The one tidbit I would say that I have with this film is only really one issue I've always had with this film is the characters pay good. They don't have a lot of time with them. Like I would have liked to have had a 5-minute segment in the film of you seeing them together, drinking, having drinks at a birthday party, something like that. You get kind of a scene. It's before the key situation, before the predator. Like perhaps after the initial introduction, that opening sequence was straight up badass. You can't tell me. They have like a moment you get to see them just chill for a second, for maybe 5 minutes, conversation, drinks, out at a park or something. That was my only thing, because at least in the first movie, you had like 15 guys, and if you more time to get to know them, they just aren't interesting characters. But in this one, I actually like the characters. I really would have wished that there was more time given to us to get to know them a little bit better. Kind of how Jerry, who's a transfer, kind of acclimates him to characters. I think a bit more. I would have liked that a little bit more. Just a little extra 5 minutes, 6 minutes to just see who their families and all of that. Like Leona and pregnant, boyfriend, hubby, who she's been messing around with, or anything like that. So I would have liked to like maybe an extra 5 minutes. But outside of that, I did the main character because he was, like I said, like a regular guy. He just wasn't no guy that's trained for stuff like this. I like, and I love the fact that this film takes the first film, the things that made the first film good but make them faster. So the Predator's doing his thing faster. The music, I just love the film. It holds up. The CGI, the practical effects just hold up, and ultimately that's to Predator film. So I'm going to go back and tell you guys what the rank: 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Predator, Predators would be 2, Prey would be 3, Predator would be 4, and the best one to me is Predator 2. So I almost said jambalaya. But in the comment section below, guys, let me know how would you rank the Predator films, not including the AVP films. Also, tell me if you what did you like, what you didn't like, and also if there is another one that's coming out, let me should actually probably go back and make a video about that. Like if they do make another Predator film, what would happen? Where should they go? What's the new direction? I think they actually said that they're going to try to do a sequel to Prey, which don't do that. That's going to be a major problem. So, just subscribe and button to get the best of what's going on this channel.